Hello, hello. My name is B. Douglas, and I can officially say welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already noticed, I am not in my office today. I am actually sitting out in the dining room where, if you haven't also guessed by the title, I do a lot of editing out here. When I edit and when I write, I need two completely different atmospheres. Writing, I like to sit down and focus and not have very many distractions. While with editing, I want to be able to sprawl everything out and have room. So that's why I'm here. The table gives me enough space to be able to put everything out in one little area right in front of me. In last Sunday's video, I told you guys a little bit about my work in progresses and goals that I have, which included editing A Tainted Light. Right now, I'm about a little shy of halfway through editing it. And today I want to sit down and tell you guys a little bit about how I edit, why I edit, and if you stay tuned, you'll be able to see a little sneak peek session on how I edit a chapter and what exactly goes into it. So hang tight. Self-editing to me is extremely important due to the fact that there are times when, especially when writing A Tainted Light, that I either don't feel really connected to a scene yet, or I just want to push forward, and I'll just kind of throw little stuffers in there, little filler sections. That way when I do go back through it, I already have a base, and I just grow from there. And you don't want to just self-edit your stories and your books. Just because you might not see something doesn't mean somebody else won't. Self-editing is just your start that you want to go with, because you don't want to do just self-editing. You want to be able to hand your manuscript over, have somebody else look at it, comb through it, make sure you can get it as close to perfect as possible. And I say that because your book is never done. You can look at a single page, go through it 20 different times, but when you go back to that 21st time, there's always going to be something you want to change. Sounds a little bit crazy, right? I know. Editing can be a very scary thing to do, especially if you don't have a lot of confidence in your writing or yourself, because you're going to go through and take a fine-tooth comb and you're just going to have a red paper. Your pen, your mark, whatever you do, it could be blue, it could be green. I prefer red, but it's not going to be perfect, especially with your first draft. You were typing too fast. You missed this comma. You misspelled that word. You put two words in at the same time. It's going to happen. But if you don't have confidence in your work or yourself, that is just going to put in your mind that maybe you shouldn't write. And I'm going to stop right there and tell you all, don't stop writing. And I can say that because I was there several times, especially with not just editing, but writing A Tainted Light. Editing can come off as basically taking a hacksaw to your work, but it's up to you to change that, because it's more. You can use it as a learning experience. You can use it as a way to grow as a writer, to learn from previous mistakes and go on and get better. That's what I've learned with A Hollow Cry moving on to A Tainted Light. When I did my first editing session, I was ready to throw in the towel. But I didn't. I pushed forward. And after I was able to sit down, publish it, and I read through it again, there were still things I wanted to change. No matter how many times I edited it, my editor edited it, say that 5 times fast. There's always going to be something. And what you learn from one book will help you write the second book. And that is how you grow as a writer. So when I told you that I don't want you to stop writing and that you should not stop writing, that's why. You just have to learn how to take your work and your tools and basically your own little exercises and help yourself. What I do as far as editing is a little bit different, but then again, there's no one real way to edit. While I have my different areas and different tips and different tricks, I bet you any money if you go ask another writer, their process is not going to be the same as mine. But that's the great thing about the writing world. Everyone is different, and you can learn, and you can give feedback, and you can actually help somebody. While they might be struggling on a way to outline or edit, you can help them. Maybe they'll take one part of what you do, or they might try and say, you know what, that's not for me, and that ruled it out. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to show you guys what I use to edit, how I edit, and at the end of this video, I will give you a sneak peek on an editing session. So let's get to it, guys. All right, so you wrote your book. First draft's done. Now what? For me, I actually go to a local printing service, Minuteman Press. The owner, Dean, is an amazing guy. He is super smart, very helpful if you have any questions. He's just ready to lend a hand. So shout out to you, Dean. Good job, bud. But what I do, as you can see, I have my manuscript bound. That way I have it all together right in front of me and I can flip through the pages and go from there. You need more than just your manuscript though. You need tools. You need a way to actually go through your book, carve it out, and get to work. What I use to start us out with is this Paper Mate pen. It's simple. It is so simple, but I swear by this. One, it helps you draw your attention from the black and white print, but it also shows you what areas you obviously need to focus on. If there's a lot of writing, make sure you go over that with a fine-tooth comb. Next, highlighters, pink and orange. The pink one is dedicated to words that I use repeatedly, all the time. As a reader, you're not going to want to read a book or even a page if every other word has the word so, or instead of giving a description of something, you just say things or stuff. As a writer, you need to learn how to show, not tell, show. And with A Tainted Light, I am focusing on 5 words. Says or said, so, everything, anything, something. Magic 5. I go through and I highlight the words in pink and I mark them down on a little tally. Not only does that help me when I go through and actually add the edits into the manuscript, because I'll be able to see them and point them out, because I'll be able to see them and they'll stand out. And I can either find an alternative or I can learn from it. When I wrote A Hollow Cry, there were so many so's. So. But not anymore in A Tainted Light. There are some. I'm not going to lie to you guys, there are some. But not as many as there were. Which, as I said before, is a learning mechanism. Not all that bad, is it? Now, orange I dedicate to write-ins. And write-ins need my orange highlighter, note cards, and my favorite writing pen, which is a tool, ballpoint, fine point, Office Max. But if there is a section where I either want to rewrite the entire paragraph or there's something I need to add in there, which is more than just like a sentence or a word, I make a little note with the highlighter. I mark it with a number, and I use the note cards to do what I call write-ins, and I number them. That way you can keep track of where they're at and what you want to put in there. Simple enough. And then I actually go ahead and staple them to the back of the page. That way, again, when I go to add them in, they're right there. And I'm not combing through anything. Nothing's getting lost as far as the note cards. They're in there. I'll let you guys know how I edit, why I edit, and what I use to edit. Let's get a little editing done. I'm going to be focusing on chapter 14 of A Tainted Light. I'm going to go through, do some editing, and I'll share with you exactly what I found. And I'm going to focus on just one chapter. That doesn't seem like a lot, does it? Just wait. So here it is, chapter 14. As you can see, I have a lot of red on the page. I told you, it's gonna happen. The orange highlighter, which I pointed out to you guys already, is what I use for write-ins, which I have stapled back here. And then I also have the pink. Anything? Anything? Say. Everything, everything, anything. See what I mean by I use several words multiple times? Not the best. But that's all right. And you want to know why? Because I'm editing. This is not the final project. Not even close. This is a foot in the door. Not even like a full foot. I'm talking like your pinky toe. That's about it. But that's okay. Because as I said before, you can edit something 20 times. And if you want to edit something 20 times, do it. Because it's your work, and if you're not happy with it, no one else will be. But let me show you all a little bit, especially when it comes to the repeated words, what I was talking about. Now in chapter 14 alone, I've used the word anything 4 times, everything 3, something 2, and the word said or says 5. But I didn't use the word so. And that's what I'm talking about when you want to use it as a learning experience. It's a lot of work and it's tedious and you want to bang your head against a wall, but do it. It'll help you. Find a way that works for you and stick to it. I told you guys this was not the first step. I have 1 round of editing done and then I do it again. This is self-editing. And once I get it all sent through and I'm actually able to print out a proof copy, I do it again. Focusing not just on the grammar, spelling, anything like that, plot holes. I also focus on formatting. And if something got messed up, I have to go back and I have to rearrange it. But that doesn't mean that it was still perfect. This here is my proof copy of A Hollow Cry. And I have so many different tabs because those are the pages that I did edits on. And instead of having to comb through page by page, I could just flip to it. But there's still so much that needs to be done with a book. And let me give you an example. So on page 194, still red. Still work that needs done. That's not just one page. Like, for example, 221. Red. That means I need to go back and I need to edit something on there. 187. So don't get discouraged. Editing is tough. It is scary, but make it work for you. Make it a learning experience to help you grow as a writer. And then, one day, you're not using the word so, maybe 5 times in the entire book. But it's also more than just multiple words. It is. It's grammar and spelling and punctuation. I am not perfect. My grammar, especially when it comes to different tenses, is tricky. But you learn. And even if you have to edit the same sentence 5 times until you think you have it down, do it a 6th time and then be good. But if there is something that you find that works for you, just do it. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. The only wrong way is to not edit. And you don't want that. Because when you have a finished product, you want your readers, as well as yourself, to love it. You want to be proud of it. You want to feel accomplished. And if you turn something in knowing that you didn't edit it as much as you could, and a reader picks it up and makes a comment, that's just going to bring you down and make you not want to write. So edit. Edit more. And then go back and do it one more time. Thank you guys again for stopping on over. I hope you learned a little bit as far as how I edit, and if it's something that you might want to try later on for yourself. If you have any questions, please ask. I'll be more than willing to answer. I'll be more than willing to give you suggestions. But just take it from me. Don't let editing twist the fears inside of you, because it will. Embrace it. Use it. Learn from it. Edit, edit, and edit. Well, I think it's time to go ahead and wrap this up. I thank you again for stopping on over. Make sure you subscribe down below, which I'll also include a link for my Instagram. Go ahead and follow. Give me a shout out if you have any questions. Ask me. Until then, work hard, busy bees.